Welcome to another episode of Inside CG. Today I'm joined by Dina Steens, fresh off her win at Domination Muay Thai on the weekend, where she took on Thailand's Untitled Chapter and came out the winner by decision after 3 hard-fought rounds. She went through quite a lot of different things leading up to the fight, not only being 9 years out, but working 2 jobs, juggling a household, being a busy mum of 2 fantastic personality girls and to a fantastic husband as well. Dina, tell us a little bit about your journey after 9 years out and how did it feel?
Yeah, it was great. I felt really good fighting again. I thought it'd be a bit rusty, but it was like nothing. Next day, it was amazing. So yeah, I just came back to Muay Thai just to train for fitness after having kids, and I'm a bit competitive, so one thing led to the next and I wanted to fight again, so.
Awesome. And I still remember you coming through the door for the first time. You were kind of not really sure about your journey and what you're hoping to get out of it, and Whitney was really keen on having a great training partner in yourself.
Yeah.
And what kind of compelled you to want to even entertain the idea of getting back into competition? Because 9 years is a very long time to be out of the ring.
Yeah, well, honestly, I didn't think of it at all when I started training again, mainly because of the weight I was at when I was fighting. I just never thought that was possible again post kids. Like it didn't even cross my mind. And then when I started training regularly, and then of course because my kids are a bit older, I was just sitting at this weight that was quite natural to me, and it was the same weight I was when I was training before. So in my mind I had like this little idea like, oh, I wonder if I could actually fight again, because I'm already at the weight, and that was my only concern, not to fight again, because I just thought it was impossible.
Okay, so if we rewind back 9 years ago, what caused you to stop fighting? People don't know that story, and I don't know that story.
So the main reason I stopped fighting before is because I really struggled to cut weight.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So I actually did just get engaged, and I gave myself 5 years when I was fighting before. I said, give it all for 5 years, like whatever jobs you get, whatever kind of things you want to do in your day-to-day life, make it around Muay Thai, and that's what I did, and I really felt like I fulfilled that. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything or needed to do more. I was quite content with where I got in Muay Thai previously, and I probably would have fought a little bit more had it not been so hard for me to cut weight. So I just kind of took it on the chin. I said, that was actually really good, I'll move on now. And that's how it kind of just came to a close, I guess.
So you stopped Muay Thai for 9 years?
Yeah. Well, I got married the next year and got pregnant pretty much the next day.
Fair enough.
So I was pregnant for a while, and then newborn, and I just couldn't commit to the times. My husband was doing shift work, and I couldn't make any of the classes. So I just thought, find something else. I'm a PT, so I did a lot of gym training, dabbled in CrossFit a little bit, but
Did you ever miss Muay Thai during your time out after quitting?
Yeah, I did. And
what did you miss the most?
I think just the hard sessions, like going somewhere and getting told what to do, and then finishing and just being like, that was a good workout. You didn't have to think about anything. Your coach there tells you what to do. You hit your pads, you can train as hard as you want, and then you're done. You get to go home and rest. Whereas at the gym, I felt like I always had to think about what I was going to do. Like, should I do legs today, upper body? It was just a lot to think about. I just like you come in, you do what you're told, and you go home.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Now, fast forward to just, how long ago was it you started training Muay Thai again? Just recently with Champions Gym?
Yeah, so when I moved back from Carnarvon last year in August, I just messaged Whitney and asked if I could come down and just jump in the fighters class, because it's the later one. And I was, she just said, yeah, come down tomorrow. So I did. And then, everyone was so welcoming. I was a bit nervous because most of the people that are training, nowadays didn't even know I fought back then. And if they did, they're just as old as me. So it was coming in and seeing all new faces, and it was just a bit like, I didn't want to set any expectations for myself, and I felt none of that when I came in, so I was happy just to train and hit pads with everyone that was in the class. So.
Yeah, and that's something obviously we talk a lot about with our people that are starting out their Muay Thai journey.
Yeah.
Everyone comes in red hot, and sometimes they put a lot of pressure on themselves because they want to succeed, and I guess setting no expectation, in your words there, is something that probably paid off?
Yes, 100%. And that's why I was surprised when I, felt like, had even the thought that like, oh, maybe I could fight again, because that was never like on my radar when I stepped into Champions. It was just fun.
Was there any particular spark or inspiration or anything where you were like globe moment where you're like, I should just do it again?
I think doing the girls fight back, just getting in the ring in front of everyone, like that's honestly why I fought in the past, is I like showcasing something that I'm good at, and felt really good doing Muay Thai. So that was one of the main aspects of being a competitive fighter, was not the kind of fighting side of it or, hitting people. I actually just enjoy people watching what I'm good at. And unfortunately it is hitting people, I guess. It's like, if I was good at singing or dancing, maybe I would have done that, but I'm not. So
yeah, great.
Just chose that sport, yeah.
Great. And obviously you're a mum to 2 girls, so
yeah.
Talk about like how did you juggle being a full-time mum, working on the side, and then you add Muay Thai and then training to the mix. I think you're working 2 jobs as well, coaching,
yeah.
and also working in daycare.
Yeah.
And being a mum to the girls. Like, how did you juggle it?
So when I decided to actually have the fight, I remember I spoke to my husband and I said, look, here's what I'm thinking. And I think I showed you as well when I came to tell you guys that I thought I might want to fight. I had a full list. Like, I put what my goal was, the date of the fight I thought I could aim for, and what my roadblocks were. And a lot of it came down to time management and just logistics of where the kid's gonna be, what shifts my husband was on, and just how to get to the gym. And I would work on that list. Like, it took me a couple weeks to say, like, is this doable? And once I had a plan set out, it was just sticking to the plan and making sure everyone around me that was supporting me knew what the plan was.
Great.
So there was no surprises. So that was probably the biggest aspect of it all, because you do just kind of get set in this routine, school drop off, naps, work, training. But when you have fight training and you're trying to get, those hours in those sessions, you really have to commit and have everyone around you support you and do it. So it is a very time management kind of, that was the biggest thing for me, was just having a plan. And I feel like I followed it pretty much as I could, 99.9%, and everyone that I needed to count on were there with me for all the way to the end. So it was very good, yeah.
Looking back, what do you feel was the hardest thing that got in the way?
I did miss, I miss all the bedtimes with coaching and then training. So my husband, Monday to Thursday, I didn't see the kids until they were already in bed. And then, just missing out on the things that I was doing every day prior, because I was the main person at home before I decided to train for the fight. So it was a shift, but at the same time, it's my husband's kids too. You forget when you're a stay-at-home mom, or like you're always home, that it's all you, but it's actually not. So it was good to kind of let go of that side and let my husband do the things that I do anyways. And he enjoyed it just as much, because you forget the dads kind of miss out on that stuff, because they're usually the ones that are working if they've got the jobs that they got to do as well. So it was good, change of pace. The kids, always like asking where I was, but I was like, you see me every day for the past 3 years, like just give me like a couple weeks. And they understand. They enjoyed, Maya's at the gym with me in the mornings when I was training, so.
Great.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so let's talk about the preparation for this fight and the training that you went through. There's the mindset aspect, the physical aspect, the recovery aspect. What was one thing that kind of stood out to you that had potentially changed since 9 years ago when you were fighting regularly, and what was different this time, I guess?
Okay, so I think setting aside having like the family and the kids, the biggest change that I found was my nutrition. Really taking a step back from stressing about the weight and can I make weight, to actually just training hard and trusting the process. So this time around, I hired a nutritionist, Peter Miller from Condition Nutrition, and I sent him a message and I just said, hey, I'm coming back to fight again. I have done it in the past, but I want to pretend like I didn't. Like, I don't even want to tell you what I used to do because it's all wrong. And I just put all my trust in him. And he set me a program, you know, like counting macros and all that kind of stuff. I can tell you right now, I've never counted a single calorie when I was fighting before. Like, I was just hoping for the best.
Winging it.
So, yeah. And you just like, oh, that didn't work that week. Oh, I'm a bit tired. Maybe it's because I didn't eat this. Like, I had no idea. I was just guessing. And this time around, I had, you know, my energy levels were up all of training. I was eating more than I ever ate, yet I was still maintaining and losing the weight properly to fight at the weight that I wanted to fight. So the nutrition was huge. Just having that weight off my shoulder and trusting someone else, best investment for, I think, fight training.
Yeah.
Because that's something that if you don't have to worry about that, then you can focus on your training. And
focus
that was
on the important things.
Yeah. So that was the biggest change for me. And learning to train on my own or like not around a team because I couldn't get to the fight classes every night. So I was here in the morning and I had, you know, my daughter with me, but I was still trying to do those hard sessions. So that was interesting, but I did it, you know, you get focused and you do what you have to do. But that was probably the two main things, was just nutrition and learning to have a different kind of schedule for your own training.
Okay, Dina, so when it comes to the nutrition side of things for
Yeah.
you, like you said you haven't counted calories before,
No.
you were counting, and sorry, your eating is more than you've ever done before, your energy levels were through the roof, and you're still losing and maintaining weight, and probably had one of the best or the easiest weight cuts in your history of fighting.
Yeah.
You know, like the old adage of eat less to lose more is so outdated, and
Yeah.
like even when I think about my days of training and competing, it's like technology and the science behind it these days is just mind-blowing. It goes completely against all the old ways we used to think about. Like, what was the biggest thing you've noticed? Because we try and push that here at Championship with our members as well, like to have a better understanding of nutrition, and it doesn't just have to be a diet essentially.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of insight about like the things that you were implementing and, you know, the sort of freedom that it gave you as opposed to like guesstimating.
Yeah, so I think the first question I asked Tim actually when I came to training one night, I was like, Tim, what are my macros? I don't even know what that means. And he just got like a generic calculator out and was like, your weight and this, and it said, you know, carbs versus protein versus fats. And I was like, that makes sense. Okay. And then it was just balancing that. So I was using MyFitnessPal and I was just seeing, I didn't change anything. I was just eating what I was normally eating and just writing it down in that thing. And it just showed me the amount of carbs versus protein versus fats. And then it was just finding the balance of those. So just shifting the amounts of the same foods I was already eating, but eating more of the protein than I would carbs versus fats and everything. And just doing that for a couple weeks. And it's not like you're eating different foods every day. You're pretty much eating the same, quite, you know, regular foods every day anyways. And I just found like I felt better, and it wasn't actually that hard to write everything down once I knew what I was eating.
Were you under eating or overeating? That's
I was under eating 100%.
So you're under eating and not losing weight previously. So
Yeah.
You had to eat more.
Yes.
That's great.
So I was like, I can't eat that much. And then when I started trying to eat more, I was like struggling. I was like, I don't think I can eat that much. And so I got like a protein shake, like on top of what I was eating, just to make sure I could get my protein, because that was, you know, you're wanting to build muscle, get stronger. But if you're in a deficit, then you're just kind of holding on to everything that you already have. You're not building. So I did that. I added protein and I was like hitting the calories for whatever it was, like my weight. And then all of a sudden I was like, my face started like shaping out. I had like arm muscles. I got like a bit of abs and I was like, hold on, hold on, what's happening here? I've never had abs. Even when I was a gymnast for 10 years and I, you know, fighting before, I was strong, but like you could never see any abs. Like that's my brother's role. He's got like the abs for days. And I was just thinking like, all that's changed is what I've been putting in my body, is the food. Like I barely even do sit-ups, because when I was pregnant, I had like the ab split. Ooh. So like I had that, like you could fit the two fingers between my abs. So like I kind of stay away from doing the crunches and stuff, and I do more of core in your like squats and big muscle group, just for like core stability. And just by doing that, I still had abs. So I was like, all right.
Impressive.
this stuff is right. You know, like I was like, I've never had that knowledge. So it was really cool to see it firsthand and not thinking like, oh, it's because I've been doing like 100 sit-ups every day. It was, I was smart about the foods I was eating. I was training hard and thinking about the bigger picture. Like I'm getting older, so I was doing a lot of stability stuff, making sure everything's like locked in and working the right way. And just by focusing on that stuff, my body just turned more into an athlete than it ever did when I was actually, you know, an athlete back in the day. So it was pretty cool.
It's good. So let's talk about the fight.
Okay.
You know, on fight day, you know, how did you feel? You know, it's been a long time between drinks. You know, what was going through your mind, you know, from when you woke up and right up until throughout the day, putting on the gloves?
Fight day was good. Like, I'm not a very emotional person in general. So I do get nerves and anxiety and stuff like that, but on fight day, in my mind, the hard work's done. Like I've done everything I had to do. My ups and downs and my stress and my nerves come during fight week in waves. Like I think, why would I do this? Oh, that was a really good session. I don't think this is a good idea. You know, like that's done on fight day. It's done. The hard work's done. You're here to showcase what you've been doing for the past 8 weeks.
Yeah.
All that you've sacrificed comes down to that day. And that doesn't stress me out. That's just like, it's showtime. So, you know, on the morning I wake up, and because I had my nutritionist, I ate, you know, he had me eating just what I've been eating in fight camp, like nothing changed. So I wasn't like binge eating like I would before, trying to get all the carbs in. I just followed exactly. I had oats in the morning, got my hair braided, and then I was like, just chilling.
Good.
So, yeah, and then you get to the fight. And then you get to see everyone that came to support you. Like, I think it's just like a fun night for me, honestly. Like, I've done it for so long. It honestly just felt like another day.
So how many fights have you had all up? Not including the one on the weekend?
15.
Yeah, so 16?
Yeah, so
Right.
even number now. That's probably the only thing. I was like, that odd number is really going to get to me.